Hey everyone, welcome to Post to Post. My name's Neil, and we're here to talk about the Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division is back. There's no more of this North Division. There's no more of this whatever other divisions that's going on. We're back to the normal. We're back to the Atlantic, and things are going to be interesting in this division. Now, I've done the Metro individually as teams, so if you want to go see me talk about each of those Metro teams individually, please go do that. But I've combined the Atlantic version, all the teams in one. I'll do the same for the Pacific, same for the Central. Those are coming after this video, so if you want to see those, please hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're going to talk about every single Atlantic team in here real quick, not in depth, just a couple of quick opinions, and that's basically it. You can be on your way. So let's start off with Boston. I'm here to answer the question, is the Boston Bruins going to do better this season coming than the previous season? I'm going to answer that question for every single team, but Boston's first. Let's look at their record from last year, 33-16-7. I got some notes here. Hope you don't mind me reading off the paper. 33-16-7. They came third in the division. They lost in the second round to the New York Islanders. Tough loss for them. I think I predicted them going to the conference finals, maybe at least. Maybe the finals? I can't remember. I know that my predictions were wildly inaccurate last year in the playoffs. I want to talk about a couple notables on the team. Taylor Hall. I really like Taylor Hall in Boston. He finally fits into a team where he's not the superstar, in my opinion. To me, that's still Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. Hall's kind of the fourth guy for me, and I think that's where he shines because he doesn't have the spotlight on him like he used to. And that works for me with Hall. I think it works for him. He likes it in Boston. He's staying in Boston. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how well he does in a regular full season in Boston. I think he's going to do pretty good. Foligno, how's he going to integrate? I'm going to be keeping my eye on him. DeBrusk needs to be more consistent. Tons of talent, tons of potential, but sometimes he's just invisible for like 9 games. It's just like, I know you can do this. Why aren't you doing it? And then boom, he comes to life and he's amazing for like 3 or 4 games and then he disappears again. So we need consistency from DeBrusk. And then Boston's all about depth for me. You've got players like Nosek and Haula coming in. These players have experience. These players are going to add that amazing depth to the team. I think they're wonderful additions, and I'm excited to see them. And then the last question mark for me is goaltending. Obviously, Rask is probably out until Christmas-ish. Why can't you say that word? Christmas-ish. That's the last update that I read about Rask. If there is a more current one, then please let me know in the comment section. But I think the last I heard, which was maybe late August, early September, is that he wasn't going to be ready until Christmas or maybe after in January time. So unfortunately, the goaltending situation in Boston isn't perfect, but I think the team in front of the net is good enough to elevate the team to keep it competitive all the way till January. And then you got a fresh Tuukka Rask coming back. That could be a recipe for success going into the playoffs for Boston. So to answer the question, I think Boston is going to do better this season than last season. I think they're getting to the conference finals this year. That's what I'm saying. Tampa Bay is next. I think they're going to do worse. They can only do the same. They can't do better. They can do the same or they can do worse. So the same is winning a Stanley Cup. Worse is not winning a Stanley Cup. So my prediction is that they will do worse. They will not win another Stanley Cup. Last year, they were 36-17-3. They came third in the division, and it's still a team that could win the Stanley Cup. If they won the Stanley Cup, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think they're going to do it because they lost some really important players. However, there's still some notable players on the team. Corey Perry, poor Corey Perry, been to the finals, lost. Been to the finals, lost. Both times against Tampa. Well, what do? You join the team that beat you. So he's on Tampa Bay. Still one of the most underrated players in the NHL, in my opinion. I absolutely love Corey Perry for his intelligence, his hockey intelligence, maybe not so much his antics. And then the other one, Bellemare. Bellemare is one of the most underrated players in the entire NHL for the past 5 years. I absolutely love that guy, and he's going to do amazing things in Tampa. Toronto is next. I think they're going to do better. They have to. How can they lose again in the first round or not make the playoffs? Toronto has to do better. Their record last year was 35-14-7. They came first in the division. They suffered a first-round loss to the Montreal Canadiens. That was amazing. And then the notables for me are not really a long list of players. The team hasn't changed that much. But 2 things. Number 1, Mrazek. Amazing addition to the team. I absolutely love that. And then the other thing, grit. If they make it back into the playoffs, I don't want to see Matthews smiling and goofing off and stuff and like get in people's faces, rough them up a little bit, have a tussle, show that you're ready to fight and ready to win. Enough of this like lackluster skating around. Let's show some intensity because what you've been doing ain't working. Mitch Marner got a lot of hate, and it's really unfortunate. He made some egregious mistakes in the playoffs, but I don't think he deserves all the hate. He is a very good player, but I would still want to see more grit from Mitch Marner. I want to see more grit from the entire team. They just folded, and that is the story that happens every single year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's really frustrating. I don't cheer for them, but I'm just, as a hockey fan, on the outside looking in, it's really frustrating. Their fans deserve more. It really pisses me off, to be honest, that this keeps happening to the Toronto Maple Leafs fans. So they have to do better. They just literally have to do better. Florida, I think they're going to do better. Florida is going to win a playoff round for the first time in 25 years or whatever it's been. They got to do it. They got to get past that first round. Last year, they were 37-14-5. They came second in the division. They suffered a first-round loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They put up more of a fight against Tampa Bay than any other team, in my opinion. Florida just got unlucky. They ran into Tampa in a strong year. Florida will make it by the first round this year. I'm telling you. Notables on Florida, Thornton. Aging Thornton. What's he going to do? He's not the same player that he used to be, but, you know, he can provide guidance and leadership to that team. Reinhart, like, sleeper this year in the league. I think Reinhart's going to do amazing things in Florida. I've got high hopes. And then in net, that's been my question mark for the past 2 years. Bobrovsky he needs to lock it down. He needs to have an incredible year, and just the team in front is amazing. He needs to be amazing. If those two things align, I'm thinking that this could be a pretty strong year for Florida, and who knows, they might go all the way. So they're doing better this year. Montreal is going to do worse, and the only way that they could do better is make it to the Stanley Cup Finals and then actually win the Stanley Cup. They're not going to do that. In fact, I actually don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, and they are my favorite team if you're new, and I'm wearing Boston because I'm trying to be objective and unbiased, and I don't like wearing Boston, but that's how it goes. I switch up my jersey for every video. So I objectively think that Montreal is going to do worse this year and not make the playoffs even. 24, 21, and 11 was their record last year. And like I said, they lost to Tampa Bay in the Stanley Cup Finals. Not lots of notables on Montreal, though, like a ton of notables. Jonathan Drouin is back, so we'll see how that goes. Hoffman, interesting addition. It's not my favorite addition for the team, but it has potential, so I'm excited to see what happens there. Dvorak really kind of replaces some players that they lost. Same with Paquette, really good depth player. It's going to be interesting to see how he does. Not the most consistent career, but we'll see. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear the siren in the background, but something's going down out there. Caulfield, I love Cole Caulfield. He's amazing. I can't wait to see what he does this year in a full season. Savard, I think, is the best addition to the Montreal Canadiens this year on the back end. They desperately needed him back there, so I love that. And Jake Evans just signed a new contract in Montreal, so I'm excited to see what he does this year. A lot of exciting things happened for Jake Evans last year, minus the hit to the head and stuff. But yeah, can't wait to see him have another full season in Montreal with a new contract under his belt. And then Price Allen. The sharing of net worked really great last year for Price and Allen. Allen took over quite a bit for Price in the regular season, and then Price locked it down in the playoffs and played very, very well. I hope that continues. I hope the games that Price does play, he's consistent. Too much of this for Carey Price in the last 5 years. Way too much of that. I just want consistency in net. That's all I want. I honestly don't care who's in net. It could be Theodore. Jose Theodore could come back 20 years later and play in net in his 50s or late 40s or whatever he's in. I don't care who's in net for Montreal. I just want them to be consistent. Inconsistency drives me absolutely crazy. Okay, moving on to Buffalo. Yikes. I think they're going to do the same, which is literally the worst. 15, 34, and 7 was their record last year. They came 8th in their division. Notables. There's a couple. Jack Eichel. This whole Jack Eichel situation, what the hell is going on? I think it is ridiculous. I think Jack Eichel should be able to, personally, personal opinion, I'm not saying I'm right. This is just how I personally feel. I believe that Jack Eichel should be allowed to do whatever surgery he wants to do. It's his body. It's his choice. Just let him do the surgery. I can't even believe that there's rules in place that don't allow him to have the surgery that he wants. I just think it's silly. Skinner, one of the worst contracts. You know, it's appearing to be one of the worst contracts in the NHL right now. He has got to turn it around. And then in net, what do you say? I mean, Anderson has basically come out of retirement to play net. You've got Dell in there. I really like Dell as a person and as a goaltender. I feel bad that he's in Buffalo. Buffalo is just the worst place right now, and it's really unfortunate. I say this every damn year, and every year I predict that they're going to do better, or at least say that I hope they're going to do better. I don't. I actually, this year, I hope they do worse than they did last year. I hope it's just an absolute Armageddon there. I hope it's destruction. I hope it's so bad that the owners finally sell the team or get out or do something, because that team is just, it is turning out to be one of the worst run franchises in NHL history, and it needs to change. And what better way to force change than for it to get worse somehow? So I honestly hope it gets worse so it can get better. It's ridiculous logic, but that's what I feel. Ottawa. I think Ottawa is going to do better. They may sneak into the playoffs. That's kind of a bold prediction, but I think they have the opportunity. Last year, they were 23, 28, and 5. They came 7th in the division, and I loved watching Ottawa last year. I can't wait to watch Ottawa this year. I'm so excited to watch the team. I just love the youth. I love their new uniforms. I love the new brand. I still hate Melnyk, but I really appreciate the team for what it is, and I'm excited to see them grow. Notables for them, just the youth, I think. Like, I've got a bunch of stuff written down here, but it's just the youth. Like, I want to see them grow. I want to see them just come to life as a team and just be awesome. And I'm just kind of excited to watch that. That's really what it comes down to. Detroit, I think they're going to do better or the same, probably about the same. Last year they were 19, 27, and 10. They came 7th in the division, not last. Columbus came last in that division. Notables, Zadina needs to be a little bit better. So I watched Zadina when he played in the Q, and he was dominant. And it's hard to go from the Q being dominant into the NHL and being dominant. It just doesn't really happen that often. You need to be a really standout superstar player. Zadina is a really good player, but I don't think he's been living up to his potential so far. So I really, really want to see him come to life. And then I think Detroit's strongest assets are their goaltenders. Nedeljkovic and Greiss in that phenomenal combo. I love that. But up front, like on paper, Detroit does not look that great. But it's a team that's really still struggling from that cap destruction over, like 4 or 5 years ago and leading into this new era. So they're still trying to rebound from that. So it's a team that's still in growth. The fans understand that. The fans don't expect them to win the team. They're just being patient. Red Wings fans are being extremely patient with the team. I think it says a lot about the fan base, actually, and how incredible the Red Wings fan base is to be this patient and not gang up on them. So I really appreciate not only the team for doing it the right way and kind of just taking their time with it, not rushing it, but more so the fans, because the fans accepted it and aren't being impatient about it. So I like what's going on in Detroit right now, even though things aren't perfect, and it's going to take some time. So that kind of wraps up my video here. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to do the other divisions like I said at the beginning. The Pacific and the Central is coming up next. You'll see those this week, so would love it if you could hit the subscribe button down below. And let me know down below in the comment section which teams you think are going to do better, which teams you think are going to do worse, who's going to win the division, who's going to come last, how's Buffalo going to do, what's going on in Buffalo. Let's talk about it. See you in the comment section, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe if you're not, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.